I am thrilled to be able to lead us off with this proclamation celebrating the 20th anniversary of our IDD Autism unit within the Montgomery County Police Department. Our department, and through solid leadership here of Officer Lori Reyes next to me, as well as our other officers who are present here today, Amy Stoughton, Tara Bond, and from our Community Engagement Division, Jordan Satinsky, Justin Safer, and Jeff Innocenti, and Assistant Chief McBain, who's hiding out in the back. The strong leadership and willingness, and Chief Yamada, oh my goodness, sorry, thought you were with the Veterans Proclamation since we had that announcement this morning. Right, no, you are not easily forgotten. It takes willingness of leadership to allow for innovation in any organization. And we are blessed that within the Montgomery County Police Department, over many years, as I said, this is the 20th anniversary of this unit, that our department has always chosen positive leadership and collaboration on solving community problems. And so with the IDD Autism unit, the level of collaboration that they have had with that community, with those families, the ongoing listening and adaptation that they engage in order to bring about the best possible results for our community plays such a significant role in the success of our county for that community, and the leadership that they bring to the state of Maryland. Because this unit is well recognized throughout the state, and they help collaborate with departments across the state of Maryland in how to do this work, how to engage in this work, and how to keep pushing forward positively. Nothing is stale, nothing is stagnant, everything's always adaptive. And they have done such a tremendous job in making us proud here in Montgomery County. And so I want to turn it over now to colleagues to make some remarks as well. Next, we have Councilmember Katz.
Well, thank you very much, Councilmember Luedtke. And you know, it is hard to believe, Laurie, that it's 20 years. I mean, this is, it's the blink of an eye, and you have one of the greatest backup singing groups of anybody in Montgomery County, even on this side, even the part that we had forgotten earlier. But, you know, I have to tell you, and Councilmember Luedtke said that across the state of Maryland, this is across the United States, you have saved lives across the United States. And we sincerely thank you. We're extremely proud of it. They've given us, each of the council members, a minute to say something. So I really don't think we could say everything nice about you in a minute. In fact, I know we couldn't say everything nice about you in a minute. But let me end by saying that of all the departments, of all the groups in the police department, I believe your group is certainly the one that people talk about the most, because of what you have done. And for that, you and everyone else associated with it should be, and we are extremely proud. And with that, I don't know who's next. Yes, thank you.
Well, good morning, good people. It is great to be here today. So about 12 years ago, I was still at the Recreation Department, and I had the unbelievable opportunity to attend an event that was a partnership between MCPD and Montgomery Recreation to produce an autism awareness event on the campus of the police department's training facility. And I will never forget speaking to the families at that event, who in many cases were very emotional because nobody had ever done anything like that for them and their children. And they talked about the peace of mind that this provided, the feeling of support and true and authentic love. And every single one of them could not have been more proud to live in a community that really got it, that saw them where they were, and that provided the support that they needed. Councilmember Katz is right. This program has saved countless lives, but also improved the quality of life for countless families. So, Officer Reyes, it is such an honor and privilege to work with you. We are so blessed to have you in our community, and I know you are one of the most humble people on the planet. And so you will talk about how wonderful the teams were and the families were that helped produce this, and that is all correct, but it takes leadership. And I also want to thank the leadership of MCPD who saw the opportunity here to do something truly unique and spectacular. So this is yet another reason why this is a wonderful community to live in. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to share that several years ago, a neighbor of my parents, actually, who has a child, an older child, who was facing challenges that day. They brought in the police. They were nervous about it. I was nervous about it. I happened to be over at my parents' house, and I was watching out the window. And this was several years ago. And I didn't know all the details of the infrastructure of our police force and so on. But what I learned later was that the respondents included this team, and things went really, really smoothly. And I was tremendously relieved and impressed. The neighbors obviously were tremendously relieved, and the situation not only resolved without any negative incidents, but people were really happy at the end of that. And so I'm very grateful for that one particular incident, but also for the many, many incidents that we don't get to share about and that we don't get to hear about. This is really an example of how important it is to work directly with impacted community when we have challenges in a particular community, to make sure that we are centering those voices and letting those voices lead, and then having experts in the field who can really take that to heart and bring it to fruition. So thank you all so very much. Very, very proud to be part of a county that has done this work and is continuing to lead in this space. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Councilmember Jawando. Good to see you all. I'm really, really excited about this program. There's a lot of reasons to be proud of Montgomery County. This is probably one of the top of the list items. The fact that we're celebrating 20 years, which is so ahead of the curve, and recognizing folks in our IDD community, children and others with autism. I talk about often, I'm a parent of a child with autism who's becoming a teenager. All of us who are parents or have loved ones know that, like, having kids is like wearing your heart on the outside of your chest. You don't want anything to happen to them. When they have a disability and you think people might misunderstand them, that's even a more heightened fear. And as they get older, out of the stages where everyone thinks they're cute and they're just kind of teenagers, you get even more scared, and I'm entering that phase. It gives me peace of mind as a parent and as a council member to know that we have a unit like this that understands, that works in collaboration, and is really a national model. So happy anniversary. The last thing I'll say, not only is Officer Reyes and Officer Staunton and others, are they humble, they also know that there's still more to do. You know, we convened a group a few weeks ago to talk about elopement, which is up and a serious concern, and they were presenting on everything that they're doing, but also saying, what can we do? What more can we do? And that's also the mark of leadership and moving forward. So happy anniversary, and thank you for all that you do for our county and our residents.
Thank you all once again. Rich Madalino, Chief Administrative Officer representing County Executive Mark Eldridge. The county executive talks about frequently why we have the best police department in the country. We have it because of the men and women who work for the police department. We have it with the innovative policies that people are willing to champion and work on in this community. The county executive wanted me to thank the county council for being a partner in trying to support these policies, in supporting the police department, especially our public safety members here, Chair Katz and Councilmember Luedtke, Councilmember Mink. He also wants to thank the men and women who work for the Department of Health and Human Services, the people who work at the Montgomery County Public Schools, because obviously this is a partnership. He understands it as the father of now a middle-aged son with an intellectual disability. He lives this each and every day of his life, and he understands the pain and the fear that Councilmember Jawando was talking about, the thrill and excitement and the achievements that Councilmember Jawando was also talking about as a father. So we just wanted to say thank you to this amazing team for your continued work, and to thank a whole generation of leaders in the police department, whether it's Chief Yamada, Chief Jones, Chief Manger, Chief Moose, if I got my timing right, who would have been here 20 years ago, leading the department when this unit was created. again, every council member said it. This is another reason why we are so proud of this department and their contributions. Thank you, and especially thank you to Officer Reyes for your work in leading this and helping so many families deal with the fear and anxiety when a loved one has gone missing. We greatly appreciate those contributions that you make to the entire community and to all of those families. So thank you.
And with that, we'd love to have remarks by the one and only Officer Lori Reyes.
So we're changing it up a bit today. I've asked Officer Amy Stoughton to speak. No, just kidding. Horrible. No. I had to lighten it up a little bit. It's just my nature. So first, I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. And you know the great thing when you talk about supervisors, 20 years ago, my bosses wouldn't even blink an eye with some of the ideas that were put forth. They would just think, oh my gosh, what is she up to now? But without that trust, and then you throw in, so look, I actually had notes of what I was going to say today, but I think I've got it in here. First and foremost, I need to start by saying our Montgomery County police officers handle thousands of calls a year for individuals who have autism and other intellectual developmental disabilities. When I say they do a tremendous job, that's an understatement. They think outside the box. They're empathetic. They're empathetic because they have children of their own that may be impacted with either autism or another intellectual developmental disability. Their thinking outside the box includes things like getting an air conditioning unit for a young man who has autism that's eloping because it's hot from his apartment. That type of mentality presents an opportunity in communities where we're needed the most. Our immigrant communities, our communities of color who may have a mistrust in us. Our unit, our officers, patrol and beyond, create those interactions in those communities that build trust in police that carry forth. That's most important. We handle thousands of calls. Patrol and beyond handle thousands of calls a year with such professionalism. That's my one on this list. Let's see what's number two. Number two, Officer Tara Bond. All those years ago, she came to me and said, "What do you need?" And I said, well, I'm the opposite of OCD. So I need someone who bridges that gap, right? And so what she brought to the table was a get it done attitude. That's what Tara brought. Then you've got Officer Amy Stoughton. Comes to me after 25 years in patrol and says, well, I am very meticulous. I said, oh crap. All right. So we're not just gonna leave an Excel cell empty ever. She's like, no. We're gonna make sure every family is provided a follow-up. This year we are at 550 follow-ups for this year. That's 550 families that have an interaction with law enforcement that get a phone call from a police officer or a retired police officer that says, what else do you need? Figuring out what language might they need translated for them. Number three, I would be remiss in standing up here and not using this opportunity to say spread the word to call 911 if your loved one is missing that has autism or another intellectual disability. Don't wait to call 911. Please spread that in your communities. If your loved one is missing, please don't think, I'm going to search on my own. Share with your communities to always call 911 because our message, what Tara and Amy and I say every time, is we are here for you. We are here for you. We share that. The last thing I'll share, we share that we're going to be there for them using resources, making sure that the families have what they need. But a lot of the times, Amy will say, we use humor. We say, you know what? You couldn't have your eyes on your child the whole time. We use a little bit of humor and understanding to say we are here for you if you need us. So I'll leave with that. I know I only had 2 minutes. Was that like 5? And I know, right? I like it up here. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm going to leave with that, and thank you, everyone. It's taken all of us to make this unit what we call a culture of action. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I think Lori might be running for my seat after she retires from the department. Thank you so much. She knows I love her. And with that, we're going to read our proclamation for today. Whoop. The County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland proclaims, whereas the Montgomery County Police Autism, Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, Alzheimer's and Dementia Outreach Unit began in 2004 in response to the growing number of calls for service involving missing residents with autism, IDD, Alzheimer's and dementia who wandered or eloped, and
whereas the program utilizes a 5-pronged approach to supporting both sides of the officer and resident interaction, which includes education, outreach, follow-up, empowerment, and response, and
whereas the MCP Autism, IDD, Alzheimer's, and Dementia Outreach Unit hosts community and school events throughout the year to engage with individuals and caregivers and provide tools and resources, such as the MCP Wandering Safety Kit to reduce elopement, and
whereas outreach and training within MCP are enriched by the participation and perspectives of self-advocates, those with autism or other intellectual and developmental disabilities who the program works with to improve services and outcomes, and
whereas the MCP Autism, IDD, Alzheimer's, and Dementia Outreach Unit has protected countless Montgomery County residents, educated families and communities, and empowered the community it serves.
Showing this coordination. Now, therefore, be it resolved. Mark Elrich as County Executive, Council Members Sidney Katz, Gabe Albornoz, Dawn Luedtke, Kristen Mink, Will Jawando, and all council members of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby honor the MCPD Autism IDD Unit, and we know what that all stands for 20 years of outstanding service to Montgomery County community, presented on this day, the 29th of October, 2004. Let's give them a big round of applause.